One Zambia, One Nation, and thanks for joining us on Zanis News. To present, my name is Juliet Mtale. Top stories in the news tonight. President Hichilema thanks EU for continued support. Construction of Autism Center nears completion. World Vision installs mechanized water system in 21 schools. Zanis News in detail. President Hakainde Hichilema has thanked the European Union, EU, for the 110 million euros budget support to the country towards the health, education and other social sectors. President Hichilema has also thanked the EU for supporting the country in achieving the debt restructuring program with creditors and the International Monetary Fund, IMF. The president said this when he met outgoing European Union Ambassador to Zambia, Jakek Jonkoksi, at State House. And Mr. Jonkoksi has observed that the Zambian economy has begun showing positive signs as a result of the country's good leadership. He said, as such, the EU will continue partnering with government so that the country achieves its political, economic and social aspirations. Here are the details.
President Hakainde Hichilema has paid growing tribute to the European Union for its continued support in various sectors of the country's economy. President Hichilema cited the budget support to Zambia of 110 million euros by the EU and its support towards Zambia's attainment of a comprehensive debt restructuring program with its official creditors under the G20 Common Framework, a landmark achievement towards restoring Zambia's long-term debt sustainability. The head of state said this at State House when outgoing European Union Ambassador to Zambia, Jakek Jonkoksi, called on him to bid farewell as his tour of duty comes to an end in Zambia.
We inherited a very difficult economy, and the EU, with your help, was very, very supportive in our restructuring process, debt restructuring. Thank you for that. To yourself and the team here, plus the EU bloc and others that supported us to achieve the debt restructuring, the G20 debt restructuring framework. Now we're moving to bed those transactions, so thank you for your support. I must also indicate that the EU was able to give us budget support, very, very well appreciated and acknowledged, I must say. And this is something that was not available before the change of government. And now it is available, so thank you to your efforts. I must also acknowledge another aspect. The EU election observer missions over the years have been making positive recommendations. Maybe some others may not agree, but overall the EU election observer missions have been very, very helpful.
And in his statement, Ambassador Jonkoksi observed that under the leadership of President Hakainde Hichilema, the economy has begun to show positive signs of recovery.
This great change we have observed, this great progress we have seen every day, is due to Zambian people. We only can facilitate, we can only help a bit, but it's your country and it's run by you, and you would like to make Zambia a beautiful country. You would like the Zambian flag to high fly, and you would like to leave this country better for generations to come. And you are on a very good track.
Ambassador Jonkoksi has since assured President Hichilema of the EU's continued partnership with Zambia in all areas of development. The new EU ambassador to Zambia is expected soon. Kalan Muchima, reporting for Zanis in Osaka.
The Ministry of Information and Media Director spokesperson Thabo Kawana has expressed satisfaction with the quality of works done on the runway at Kasama Airport. Mr. Kawana says the quality of works done at the airport is an indication of government's commitment to fostering development across the country. Here are the details.
He is in Northern Province to appreciate developmental projects that government is implementing in the area. Ministry of Information and Media Director spokesperson Thabo Kawana has toured the newly constructed Kasama Airport runway, which can now accommodate 737-800 version of aircraft.
Kasama is ready for business, it is ready for tourism, it is ready for investment, and the infrastructure is here. And therefore, ours is to re-echo the DC's appeal to the airline industry that they must be able to come forth and be able to utilize this facility. We are happy to have noted from the debrief that we got from management here that one of the private airlines has already indicated that they are going to schedule 2 flights per week coming to Kasama.
And Kasama District Commissioner Elizabeth Goma is aware of the benefits that the airport will bring.
The finishing of this airport will attract a lot of tourists that are coming to Northern Province using this same facility. Also the investors, they also have an interest to come to our district, to our province, to see the potential that we have.
Earlier, Mr. Kawana paid a courtesy call on the provincial administration where various developmental issues in the province were discussed.
So there is so much investment in the infrastructure in the province. We are also trying to put together resources. Already you are aware that more than $100 million have been resourced for Kasava Bay Airport. So that will complete the cycle of tourism in the province.
Reporting for Zanis in Kasama, I'm Tizao Namlinga.
And in Muchinga Province, government has granted forest users rights to 5 community forest groups under the support of biocarbon partners. Muchinga Principal Forest Officer Martin Musaba disclosed in Mukungule Chiefdom during the handover ceremony of the forest users' rights to Mukungule and Nabwalia community forest groups. More in this report by Freddie Piri.
It's a new phenomenon in Zambia to trade in carbon. That's why an international organization calling itself Biocarbon Partners, BCP, has intensified its engagement with government, traditional leaders, and citizens in Muchinga Province. This time, 2 forest management groups, FMGs, in Mukungule and Nabwalia chiefdoms have been handed over agreement documents.
I declare the community forest management user rights and responsibilities officially handed over to Mukungule, Nabwalia community forest management groups.
Both Chief Mukungule and Nabwalia urged their subjects to grab the opportunity of trading in carbon by making money. Muchinga Principal Forest Officer reveals
7 community forests so far in Muchinga Province. With a total hectarage of about 339,000.
So far, 4 FMGs have received their legal agreement documents that authorizes them to trade in carbon. Fred Piri, Zanis News.
And in Central Province, works on the construction of a Caleb Center for children living with autism in Kabwe is nearing completion. First Lady Mutinta Hijilema has inspected the facility in Kabwe, which will accommodate children living with autism in the country. Jen Simalumba accompanied the First Lady and brings us the following report.
First Lady Mutinta Hichlema was in Kabwe Central Province. Mrs. Hichlema, who arrived in Kabwe's Katondo area at exactly 10:30 hours, was welcomed by senior government officials and the people of Katondo area. The First Lady was here to inspect the progress made on the construction of the Caleb Center for children living with autism.
As you recall, last year we were here in September for a groundbreaking ceremony. So we are pleased to be back again, just to see how the works are going on. And so far we are so pleased with the work. And I'm sure your next question will be, when are you going to commission this? I think we'll be able to commission this in 2 to 3 months from now, but this will depend on the speed of the contractor and also the availability of resources and financial support.
Minister of Community Development and Social Services Doreen Mwamba and the provincial administration is also happy with the construction of this facility.
Of course, this will go a long way to cater for children with autism and other disabilities as well. And not only for Kabwe residents and Central Province, but also for other neighboring provinces.
This has brought excitement to the province, to the district, that our children, who are almost losing hope because of the space that they are occupying at the current center, but you have come to their rescue.
Stanbic Bank is one of the sponsors.
It's kind that we are supporting in Zambia. This is the Stay in School project being run by the First Lady in terms of assisting the vulnerable in society. And essentially, autism is a spectrum of disorders.
Once completed, the facility will accommodate children living with autism in the country. Autism spectrum disorder is a developmental disability caused by differences in the brain, among other causes. Jane Simalumba Zanis, in Kabwe.
And in other news tonight, Kalumbila District Administration in Northwestern Province has distributed census materials using the 2022 census of population and housing to various government departments in the district. Kalumbila District Commissioner graced the distribution ceremony held at Mutanda Boarding School in Kalumbila. Details in this report.
Various government departments in Kalumbila District have received some census materials used during the 2022 census of population and housing to ease service delivery in the district. Kalumbila District Commissioner graced the occasion.
The 2022 census of population and housing preliminary report is already out, and the population of Kalumbila District stands at 177,067. Segregated as follows. We have 87,715 men and 89,352 women. Today, we gather here to share some of the tools and materials used during the census as per directives of government. However, I must state that these items are government property and they must reach the intended beneficiaries.
Speaking on behalf of benefiting government departments, District Health Director thanks government for the gesture.
On behalf of the Ministry of Health and Kalumbila District in general, all the departments working, we want to commend the office and the office of the PS, our PS in office, to allow this to happen. We are very much grateful and we would like you to convey really our gratitude also to his office. We are also thankful to the government and to the leadership to have tried to find solutions to the problems which all the departments are facing. And the solution hasn't come from outside. It has come just from within the resources which already the government had underused.
Shilika Chabalengula, Zanis, Kalumbila, Northwestern Province.
In our education segment, World Vision Zambia, working with government, has installed mechanized water systems in 21 schools of Sinazongwe district to enhance sanitation and hygiene among learners, especially the girls. World Vision Water and Sanitation Programs Officer Paul Sinkala says the installation of the mechanized water systems to schools will improve access to clean drinking water and development that will promote regular school attendance. Here are the details.
A friendly and supportive environment that provides education on good menstrual hygiene practice, especially in schools, encourages regular school attendance for girls. To achieve this, Magonkoto is one of the 21 schools in Sinazongwe district where more than 50 teachers have been trained by World Vision on how to make reusable sanitary pads. Both boys and girls in these schools have been also trained
We have established capacity among the teachers, some of the teachers, to ensure that some of the improved sanitation and hygiene practices are inculcated in the young learners.
We have trained over 50 teachers in menstrual hygiene management. So the teachers, they teach both the girl child as well as the girl child on how to make reusable pads.
This intervention has reduced absenteeism among girls in schools.
Long time ago, there was that stigma whereby they will ask the colleagues to go out, leaving her alone, so others they would sense to say they've left that one because of this. Then they could even laugh at that girl. Others could even stop coming to school because of that. So we teach even the boys so that in instances when the girl finds herself in situations, she should even feel free to tell the boys she's seated with.
The installation of mechanized water system at this school has revamped the production unit.
Our school garden started initially last year after World Vision funded the school with the mechanized water system. As you can see in this garden, we have different crops. Initially, learners were eating magwaza in our local language, but due to the coming of the school garden, which has different crops inside, we thought of revamping from eating magwaza or feeding our learners from magwaza. We have now thought of giving them a variety of foods.
Costa Kimdenda, Zanis, in Sinazongwe district, Southern Province.
Education authorities in Serengeti district have revealed that over 12,000 pupils have been enrolled in schools since the introduction of the free education policy. District Education Officer Harry Silungwe says the situation shows that the free education policy is enabling several children who, in most cases, did not have capacity to access education. Here are the details.
Education is one of the keys to development. However, due to the ineffectiveness of the government's and low budgeting allocation to the sector, it has not been accorded its rightful place and has experienced setbacks which have affected the developmental agenda and impoverished as many children as possible that have missed the opportunity of going to school. However, the reintroduction of free education under the administration of President Hakainde Hichilema has cheered many learners.
The free education policy has helped a lot because even the boy child, those who are not able to come to school, they are able to come, they are able to learn, and many other things that it has brought in the school. Even me myself, I'm able to benefit because I don't pay anything. I just have to come to school, learn, and get the knowledge that I deserve, that I need to use in the society.
The new free education policy that has been introduced, because mostly of the pupils that never had the opportunity to come and learn and for free, those that couldn't afford to learn, have gotten this opportunity to come and learn. This has greatly improved and added to the knowledge of the country.
Since the inception of the program in 2022, there has been notable positive and negative results, like the recruitment of over 30,000 teachers and also the increase in the number of enrollment, leading to shortage of classroom space.
This increased enrollment has had an impact on our infrastructure, meaning that children now do not have enough classroom space. So where do children learn? So we have to make a lot of shifts to accommodate a lot of these children.
In Serengeti district, the increment of Constituency Development Fund from 1.6 million to 28.7 million has helped to attain a reasonable level of providing education for all, with the construction of a 1x4 classroom block at Ibolelo Secondary School.
This will cushion the increase in the enrollment from the 49,000 I was talking about to 61, so the 12,000 are able to have access.
Apart from the Constituency Development Fund, schools are also receiving grants according to their enrollments.
We are receiving grants according to our enrollment. So the 1,338, all of them are paid for by government. And this has made our work easier because previously a learner will bring a 50 kwacha, this learner will again bring 100 kwacha, just like that. We were not receiving money at one time. But the coming of the grants from government is really helping the school.
Daniel Billy, Zanis News, in Serenge District, Central Province.
Lusaka residents have been challenged to maintain cleanliness in the city to support government efforts in keeping the city clean, green and healthy. Today, the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development undertook a tour of the city to highlight government's efforts to prevent disease outbreak and maintain a clean environment. Sarah Miti now reports.
Poor hygiene, indiscriminate disposal of garbage and blocked drainages have characterized Lusaka Central Business District, CBD, for a long time. Street vending has been partly to blame for the situation, and this prompted government to come on board and ban trading in undesignated places. However, some city dwellers have raised concerns on the continued littering around Lusaka.
And chimbe twingalomba chakwe bati especially pakati apo bali byade fimu chapa swaromba ko bati babika bika kutuma bini yafura kwa mabini.
Like these people of shops, they should put bins in areas where people can access them, so that we can maintain the cleanliness.
Passengers on both public and private vehicles are also contributing to the continued littering in the CBD and bus stations. This is why Lusaka City Council has partnered with various stakeholders, such as bus operators, to manage the situation.
The issue we had was with the operators and shops around, of which we've embarked on everyone having a bin by their shop. With the operators, they are having liter plastic bins in the buses. Some of them are having bins, but for those who are not having those conveniently, they are using the liter plastic bins, of which we make sure as the buses are floating, they are also floating their litter to the garbage dump sites.
When the bus is moving, we always tell our customers to throw things inside the bus, not outside, because when they are throwing things outside, they can even cause accident.
Especially when Africa rain season, Africa katuwa. Mama plastiki msastahili panja. Mubulika matenga ya plastiki, mwebeka mutram. So nikupempani manzanga mabasi. Tonse muno. This week, tiza mabasi niambi almost 3,000. So this week tipempa each driver agule cabin mubasi. So tuninga pembe vakanso. Nzawati rain season ya. Muno mumangala manzi kuipa. Once mvula ya loka, utimanzi ya choke. Ni 3 days.
In order to sustain government's efforts in maintaining a clean and healthy city, government intends to provide more services to manage garbage and prevent any disease outbreaks.
The ministry is fully aware of the challenge that has come as a result of block drainages within the central district area of Lusaka. In particular, the drainage that passes through Kulima Tower, I think that has been a source of much of the flooding in town. And because of that, we have requested for some financing from the Treasury, and thankfully that financing has been approved. And in no time, this money is going to be made available to the Lusaka City Council in order to address the drainage issue in the CBD, specifically the one that passes through Kulima Tower. Minister of Local Government issued an instruction, a ministerial instruction, that we are going to circulate through the ministerial circular to all the shop owners in Lusaka and countrywide, that they should place appropriate bins in front of their shops to facilitate for the collection of solid wastes. And we want to emphasize and appeal to all the shop owners that let us cooperate with that ministerial directive so that together we can manage our trading spaces.
Indeed, cleanliness is next to godliness, and it is the responsibility of every well-meaning Zambian to contribute to the cleanliness of their surroundings. Sarah Miti for Zanis and Los.
The Minister of Justice, Mulambo Haimbe, has called for continued collaboration between government and the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees in addressing the plight of refugees in the country. Mr. Haimbe says there is need to approve and improve the legal framework policy which can be responsive to the needs of refugees and people that seek asylum in Zambia, Zanis reports that the minister was speaking when the UNHCR country representative, Petra Law, paid a courtesy call on him at his office today. And UNHCR country representative, Petra Law, commended the Zambian government for its commitment in accommodating refugees for many years now. Ms. Law further praised Zambia for being one of the countries which has a progressive policy to cater for the plight of refugees and asylum seekers.
Republic of Zambia and the UNHCR. As we are aware, as a country, Zambia has hosted refugees and persons seeking asylum from all over the continent of Africa and beyond, and especially from amongst our neighbors. The discussion today was around how we can continue to collaborate, how the legal framework in Zambia and the policy framework in Zambia can be improved in such a way as to be more responsive to the needs of our brothers and sisters, really, who have sought a safe haven in this country. Very fruitful discussions. There's plenty of room for collaboration, and as the government of the Republic of Zambia, we want to make the continued commitment, even from the perspective in particular of the Ministry of Justice, to have an appropriate legal framework to continue to improve our laws and regulations, policies, in order for us to create and continue to have an environment in which those who come to this country due to circumstances which lead them to come to this country from their various nations.
Discuss areas where we can collaborate and work together to look at the legal framework in Zambia, existing laws, and how we can develop that to be able to better serve the rights of refugees and other forcibly displaced persons in Zambia. Zambia has a very long history of hosting forcibly displaced persons and providing a safe haven. It has taken an approach now to have a more progressive and agenda towards the management of refugees.
Now, government has come up with a public service domestic tourism loan scheme which will enable civil servants access loans to undertake domestic tourism in various parts of the country. Minister of Tourism Rodney Sikumba says the initiative will positively impact the sector, which will in turn translate into an improved economy. The minister was speaking when he launched the PSMFC product, which will allow civil servants to access the loan facility. Speaking during the same event, Secretary to the Treasury Felix Nkulukusa says civil servants should take full advantage of the product. Meanwhile, PSMFC Chief Executive Officer Mubanga Mwiko says the institution will continue being responsive to the needs of the public service workers.
This is why the domestic tourism loan scheme that is being offered by the public service microfinance is not only just a policy but a strategic tool for transformation. By facilitating our public service workers to explore Zambia, we are essentially investing in grassroots promotion in our tourism sector. Every hotel stay, every meal, every souvenir purchase contributes directly to our economy and stimulating job creation and sectorial growth.
Our lodges, our tour guides, our artisans crafting souvenirs, our local cuisine, all stand to gain from this. We're not just promoting rest, we're stimulating growth, creating a robust and resilient economic ecosystem where every Zambian benefits.
This is not merely a financial file, but a strategic intervention to ensure that every public servant, irrespective of their role or rank, has the means and opportunity to recharge, rejuvenate, and reflect what is contributing to the continued growth of the economy. As a company, we do not discriminate whether you are a senior, whether you are a long-serving public service worker, or just someone starting your journey in the public service. Public Service Microfinance Company caters to you, Our commitment to inclusivity means that everyone, regardless of their pay or salary rate, can benefit from this opportunity.
On a sad note, Copperbelt Minister Elisha Matambo this afternoon led hundreds of mourners in paying their last respect to the late wife to Luansha District Commissioner once more Ngonomo. Mrs. Elina Ziambo Ngonomo, 36, died on the 11th of August 2023 at Ndola Teaching Hospital after a short illness. Mr. Ngonomo, who was put to rest at Wansha's Milemo Cemetery, is survived by a husband and 6 children. Ministry of Information and Media Permanent Secretary Kennedy Kalunga, Copperbelt Permanent Secretary Augustine Kasongo, traditional leaders from the Lima Lamba Royal Establishment, led by Chieftainess Lesa, members of Parliament, mayors, council secretaries, and district commissioners from the Copperbelt province were in attendance. Copperbelt Minister Elisha Matambo urged the deceased family and mourners to lean on God for comfort.
Today is a day when we are supposed to celebrate the life of our in-law, our mother, our aunt, our sister, and everything. We want to say thank you to the Almighty God, the giver of life, for the years He allowed us to be with her. And the Lord says, when He closes one door, He will always open another. That's the God I know.
And we end the news with a sports item. The Zambia Association of Athletics has embarked on the construction of an athletics academy in Joma district for middle and long races. ZA General Secretary Davison Mungambata says the association chose to build the facility at Siagabole, a rural part of Joma district, for athletes from all parts of the country to use for training when preparing for both national and international competitions. And National Olympic Committee of Zambia Secretary General Boniface Kambi, who toured the facility, commended the association for the initiative. Wakumelo Stalina reports.
The construction of the National Athletics Academy in Choma as part of the preparations to becoming a successful sporting nation has begun. Zambia Association of Athletics is spearheading the project, located at Siaskawole, 40 kilometers away from Choma town, for middle and long distance races.
We have now put the structures that are behind here because we need to develop this place to a fully fledged academy center for long and middle distance. We are just emulating what is happening in Kenya. There is Eldoret there. Maybe one day this one will become Eldoret of Zambia, because we will be welcoming athletes from different provinces and even regional athletes.
National Olympics Committee of Zambia is happy with the initiative taken by ZA.
ZA has taken an opportunity to create a place where they can develop middle and long distance runners. We've always been talking about why is everybody going for short distances runners. And I think it's a great opportunity because the landscape here and the terrain is very good for developing middle and distance runners. And with this academy, which should be supported really, as a long-term project.
Government pledges full support.
I think as government we are grateful to this initiative, because it helps to shape up talent for our youths. And sports, as you know now, it makes a lot of money. And it also relieves pressure from government on employment.
The province were more than excited for this initiative that Zambia Athletics Area Board have come up to construct, or rather to start the construction of a campsite for athletes in the province. As you know, talent identification is something very important in sports development.
Wakumelo Study, Zanis, in Choma District, Southern Province.
That last item concludes Zanis News, but before we go, a recap of the headlines. President Hichilema thanks EU for continued support. Construction of Autism Center nears completion. World Vision installs mechanized water system in 21 schools. Thank you so much for staying with us. Remember, we are one Zambia, one nation. On behalf of the entire Zanis production team, my name is Juliet Mtele saying bye-bye and God bless.